Hello and welcome to this employability skills video. My name is Vladimir and today I will be talking to you about how to adopt the beginner's mindset. Beginner's mindset is a step in the design thinking process where you learn how to empathize with your users, with your customers. You learn how to leave everything you thought you knew behind you and try and see things from a radically different perspective. I want to start this video with a short exercise. What does this woman need? I'm going to give you around 10 seconds to jot down on some piece of paper next to you your ideas and your thoughts about what this woman needs. And in the meantime, I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that she needs to reach that thing on the top shelf there. I think that maybe she needs a different type of bookshelf where she can reach all of the things. She maybe needs to step on that chair so that she can actually reach it with ease. Perhaps she's going home, and that's the thing that she needs to take back to her family. Perhaps she needs to digitalize all of her books so she doesn't even need a bookcase at all. I think you got my point there. We don't know what this woman needs. How can we find out? We can find out by asking her, but the thing that I wanted to make a point of here is that all of these things that we just thought of are based on different prejudices that we have, on different situations that we've experienced before, and that we translate into this current situation. So why bother adopting a beginner's mindset? I really like this quote. This is a Buddhist who's written a book about the benefits of Zen and the beginner's mindset. And as you can see, there are many possibilities in a beginner's mind, and the expert's mind, there are very few. The more you know, or the more you think you know, the more closed off your mind is, and the less room for maneuver there is, there's less room for new things, for creative things, for different solutions. A lot of the great tech companies' philosophies nowadays are based on the beginner's mindset. If you look at Steve Jobs, he spent a very long time traveling the world looking for a guru who could teach him the beginner's mind. He finally found one in his hometown in California. But the whole philosophy of Apple is based on constantly questioning whether their products are good for their users, constantly asking, why do we do this? Why do we do that? How can we do this or how can we do that? So how do we assume a beginner's mindset? First of all, don't judge. Go into a situation and forget everything you know. Don't judge your users, don't judge the way that they do things. Just walk in there with an open mind and you will be able to grasp a lot more than you could have before. Question everything. Imagine a 4-year-old toddler. In the span of 24 hours, how many times would they ask the question why? Why does the sun come up? Why do we only eat vegetables that I don't like? Try adopting that mentality and especially ask questions about things that you think you know. Once you start unpicking a problem or a service or a product or a situation that you think you know perfectly using the why methodology, you'll start seeing it in different ways, in different directions. You'll start realizing new and different things, potentially things that you can improve, things that you thought no one else thought of. Be truly curious. Now, this would generally happen once you start unpicking those things that you know loads about with the why methodology, but I want you to be consciously curious to actually look for those new things, to look at how things work, why things work that way, and try and reimagine things. This whole process is intended to make things better. So be curious about how things work and be curious about how you can better them. Once you do these things, once you go into a situation without judging it, once you question everything, and once you're curious, you start finding patterns. You start finding patterns in the way that users use certain things, the way that they interact with certain services. Make sure you write those down. And last but not least, listen. And what I mean here is when someone starts speaking or asks a question or makes a point, don't automatically start formulating a response in your mind. Really listen to what they're saying. Take a minute or two to respond, or do you even have to respond? Now, I quite like this example. My father is into photography and he's read all of those large manuals of Canon and how to use all of the different functions. What I do when I grab his camera, I turn it on auto mode. Or I turn it on that little face mode that you see there, which means that I want to take a picture of a portrait. Or the mountains, the landscape, the flowers, the running person, who I can only assume is something that would be in motion, nighttime, or a video. I don't know what all of the functionalities of this camera are, but I am quite happy and confident that I can take a good picture looking at all of these universal symbols on there. And you'll find that most cameras have similar things. When we look at MAV, TV doesn't mean television here. It's all of those things that are written down in the very, very big manuals of Canon, Nikon, or any other brand. But what they did when they designed this, they didn't judge their users. They didn't simply assume that because they're buying a Canon camera, they would know how to use it. They didn't assume that all of their users would read their manuals and know how to use everything. They were curious and they listened to their customers. They listened to what their customers needed. They came up with this. So that's what it's like to adopt the beginner's mindset. Reflect, don't judge, listen, and you'll find that you will come up with new ways to design a product that's better for your users. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope that this has been useful.